Hey guys, it's me Marcus. We are back in the Adventures Lair, and here today we have a very special guest, Madison Thames. She's an author, an artist, and a YouTube reactor. So, reaction? I think right? I
hmm
don't know. Okay. So, Madison, welcome to the Adventures Lair. Please introduce yourself for the public.
Hi, thanks for having me. Excited to be here. Yeah, I'm an artist, primarily a Western artist. I do paintings and drawings and digital art, and I'm an author. I write Western novels. You can see I love Westerns. And yeah, also a YouTube reactor. I react to all kinds of movies, but I do make an effort I try to do like one Western per month because, as I've said, that's my focus. So that's kind of what I'm known for. But yeah, I react to all sorts of movies over on my YouTube channel, every genre. And yeah, that's what I do. I'm in Alabama, born and raised. So yeah, that's me.
Well, fun story, guys. When the algorithm was showing me medicine, I was a little confused because I was thinking that you were Jessica Green, the actress, because you are very look like.
Oh, thank
You
you.
know her,
Oh, who?
J- Jessica Green.
Oh, I don't know.
She made she doing the new Telebrarians, but she
Okay.
made the fantasy show The Outpost.
Okay. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, so it's a funny fact. So, guys, Madison have two published books: Gone Outlaw, The Sunset Legend, and Cimarron Dove, Sunset Legend. I started the audiobook, but we have only 12 chapters, right, Madison?
That's right. The whole book is out. It actually came out in 2023, but just this year I'm finally releasing an audiobook for Gone Outlaw. So the whole thing is available on Amazon Audible right now, but I'm releasing for free one chapter per week on my YouTube channel. So that's been really fun.
Thank you for that. Thank you. So, Madison, before we go into your books, well, and tell us about you, your journey.
Well, it's a long story with a lot of twists and turns. Yeah, lots of plot twists along the way, but mainly, I mean, my love of westerns really started as a love of horses. I grew up loving horses, and I was already begging to start horse riding lessons by the time I was probably like 4 or 5. But I wasn't actually allowed to start riding horses until I was 6. So that's where that journey started. And I started off writing English, but then transitioned into Western probably a couple of years later, like maybe 8 or 9 years old. And that's where I guess my was kind of the origins of my cowgirl era, if you will. And I never really got into rodeo or anything. I was in just one rodeo as a kid, and then kind of the whole Western thing went off to the sideline for a while. I grew up loving the fantasy genre, like sci-fi fantasy as well. And I was a big gamer growing up, so I played a lot of video games, and I loved Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, all that stuff. I grew up loving it. So that was kind of my focus. And I always thought I was going to write like fantasy stories growing up. And so that was kind of where my focus was. I was doing like fantasy artwork, and I thought I was going to write fantasy books. And I actually, for a long time, wanted to work like in video games. I thought maybe because I was a big BioWare fan growing up, I always wanted to work on like a BioWare video game or something. So that was my focus for a long time. And I even thought that like going through college, that was still kind of my goal. But then there was a major plot twist in 2018 because Red Dead Redemption 2 came out. And I had not played the first one, but my brother had, and he was like, "You've got to play this game. It's going to be great." And I was like, "Okay." I mean, I don't know anything about it, but I gave it a try, and I loved it. Became my
How
favorite game, and it actually inspired me to write my first novel, Gone Outlaw. So that's the or I guess the short version of a very long story.
how shocked you were when you get to the end and read that the redemption and you die. Oh,
Yeah,
oh my God.
yeah, at the end of both games, and I hadn't played the first one. I played the second one first, and so that was just a gut-wrenching ending. Yeah, ripped my heart out.
Oh, so now can you share with us your favorite authors and
Hmm.
inspirations?
So, as I mentioned, I grew up loving Lord of the Rings, so I have to name J.R.R. Tolkien as definitely one of my favorite authors. I think The Lord of the Rings is just a masterpiece, and it's such an inspiration for me. Both the books and the movie adaptation, which I also think is just fantastic, huge inspiration for me and my storytelling. Um, and I also really, this is completely the other direction, but I also really like Cormac McCarthy. I think No Country for Old Men is absolutely fantastic. And again, completely different writing style, much more contemporary and completely different genre. But yeah, that's two authors that I really love.
Oh, nice. And I also love Tolkien. And do you know David Gemmell?
I don't.
Oh, you should look for. It's a legend. The first book, it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Awesome.
And I think you're going to like it because it's a very great book about great characters.
Hmm.
So, now, Madison, you uh, is a very talented artist because I was watching you paint, and you very, very good. And how does it started? You always have this talent.
Yeah, I grew up just I would lay in the floor for hours and color, like with crayons and stuff. Growing up, it's just something that was in me from the time I was born. I loved that. Really, it was three things from the time I was very little. I loved to draw, I loved to write stories, and I loved to ride horses. Those were the three constants from the time I was a very young girl all the way until now. And so, yeah, I've just always loved, I've always had this like impulse to create art. I have to create art and I have to write stories. That's just two things that, like, if you took them away from me, I wouldn't know what to do because I have this kind of internal drive that was just given to me from the time I was a kid. Like, I have to create, and that's just always what I've loved to do. And from the time I was a kid, I was like, I want to be an artist and I want that to be what I do as my career.
Oh, because I was fascinated because I can draw nothing. Um, so, is this the motive that one of your characters in your book he draws in some moments?
Yeah, I love putting just little bits of myself and my characters, and just kind of like this part of me in this character, and this part of me in this character. I've never liked the idea of like a self-insert where authors just directly, very obviously put themselves in their stories. But I think as authors, that's a an element of what we do is inherently when we write a story, pieces of ourselves are going to be in it and they're
Oh,
going to be in
sure.
our characters. And it's kind of a beautiful combination of like who we are and our influences, like the other authors and creators who have inspired us. We put elements of them in, like, unintentionally and sometimes intentionally into our stories. And then just history inspires me when I'm writing my westerns too, like actual history, the history of the American West, historical figures. Kind of, yeah, my characters just end up being a combination of all those different things.
Okay. Before you get into your characters into your books, with some spoilers, right? Can you tell me your top five westerns?
Hmm. See, I hate ranking things. That's very hard for me to do. So what I tend to do is just say my favorites instead of like saying this one is
Okay.
the best.
Okay.
But in no particular order, I really love Hostiles, which came out in I think 2016. It stars Christian Bale and Rosamund Pike. Very good movie. Um, I really love The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I
Oh,
feel like that's a
yeah.
quintessential Western.
I grew up with my grandfather watching those
Yeah.
movies, and that's my love for westerns because my grandfather was not a very expressive man, but he when he wants spend some time with me, he always call me to watch his favorite movies, and Sergio Leone westerns were always there.
Mhm. Fantastic. So, I mean, all of the Clint Eastwood westerns are so good, but I also really love Dances with Wolves. I think that one is fantastic. Oh man, it's so hard to pick.
So, did you watch what is a very recent one at the Old Harry? I just loved that movie.
I have not seen that one yet.
Oh,
I've heard of it.
I am very anxious to see your reaction to this movie because I know you like Young Guns,
Yes, I did.
right? So it's a link there in some place.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Now let's talking about your books. Bon, well, guys, I just started the Gun Outlaw, and how I can say this without spoilers. Okay, it started very. What I can notice in the book, and after Madison talk, it's very clear. It's your love by horses because you all give it that moment to describe the difference in horses, and I can feel sometimes I can feel the smell of the place, the prairie, the freedom, the wind, the loneliness,
Mhm.
right? And this is very present in your books, and I was a little afraid that will be like cheesy, but no, you got very. It's shocking in the first lines, and it's going to building. I do not finish yet, but it's in a moment I was almost thinking, oh, he going to be a good guy. He going to turn the corner, and no, you're going deeper and deeper in these characters, and I love them. Um, the villain, it's a villain. Is a really he get a little Hans Gruber, I think, there, but only one character that I cannot like. It's the mother. Sorry.
I love hearing like who different readers love and who they hate. It's just so fascinating to me because people are inherently drawn to certain kinds of characters, and then because of like their personal experiences, who they are, they just really don't like this character over here, and I love hearing about that.
So tell us your inspiration for the book and the characters, and what you can tell us about the feedback from the public. And always we create a character just like the a good example. Let's see, um, the the gentleman who give your protagonist the chance to go, right? And I love him, but always is a that character that we do not expect the public really love it. That's happened to you.
Mhm. Well, so like I said, with the idea for the story, it started with Red Dead Redemption 2. Like it just unintentionally happened while I was playing the game. I got so immersed in the world and the history that I was like, "Oh my gosh, I want to write a western," and I can't believe I'm saying this. But as I was playing, I was like, I would love to write the story of an outlaw, and I'm trying to describe this without getting too much into spoilers. The story of an outlaw and his journey and a journey of change, I'll say. I wanted to do that, and I also wanted to have a romance at the forefront because I love love stories. That's another thing that I've just always loved. I grew up loving stories like Beauty and the Beast and Pride and Prejudice, Wuthering Heights, all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to have that classic epic romance and put that into a western, and also have lots of action and adventure because I am not as much a fan of I don't like Hallmark romances. That's not the kind of romance I'm into. I like epic sweeping romances with like real grit to them and not just like the typical tropes where you know exactly how it's going to go and you know
Oh
exactly how
yeah,
it's going to turn
you,
out.
you got so many plot twists. I was happily lost because I was, oh no, oh no, oh no. And when you say Beauty and the Beast, I think I found your Gaston in your book, bro.
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
He's there. He's got to be
he's
there.
there. And about the character that the public just love it and you do not expect it.
Hmm. So are you referring to Lawrence?
In general, the feedback about the public.
Okay, so I would say two characters that people really loved, apart from the main characters. People really loved Lawrence and they really loved Agnetto. I would say maybe Agnetto the most. They really love him.
I
And
just love him. I
yeah,
I, I was every time he is in the pages, oh please, Madison, don't kill him, don't kill him.
yeah, I love making supporting characters that are just as interesting as the main characters. Like I didn't want to have a supporting cast that was boring or like one dimensional. I really wanted to have a bunch of interesting characters. Part of that being it wasn't my original plan for this to be a series. Originally, I thought it was just going to be a one-off. But by the end of the story, I was like, okay, I want to know what happens next. I think there needs to be more stories. So that was how it developed into becoming a series. And then it became a really good thing that I had created so many interesting and complex supporting characters because I can carry them forward into more stories and dig in more into different characters depending on the book.
Yeah, and I made a little research because I always liked maps, right? And you really base in real places, so I can take a map from the time and oriented myself. I love this part. And another detail is how I say before, you you are very you love the horses, and I noticed beyond the horses, the names and the breed, you are very specific about guns, right? You know just right. He pull a six shooter and shoot someone. You give the name of the gun, and I like this because give some immersion. It's proposal,
Oh, what?
uh, uh, on purpose,
Oh, yes. Yeah,
intentional.
yes. By no means am I a gun expert, but I try really hard because I know there's people out there who are experts of the time period. They know like what weapons were available, how they functioned, and again, what like you said with the maps, I look up as much as I can. I wish I could time travel. That would be the only way to like 100% accuracy. But I try really hard to find maps whenever I can so that I get the streets right. I know like what buildings were there at the time, which sometimes that's really difficult to find that information of like what was here at this particular like in this particular year. But I try really hard. I probably spend more time researching than I do actually writing the story because I have to have that framework of like this I have to study each different town like where scenes take place and I try to research the weapons like you said and the weapons and the horses and all that stuff is not just there for no reason. I do it to tell more about the characters like what kind of horse do they have? What does the horse look like? That says something about the rider. It says somebody who owns them and then the different weapons they have. It's all character building.
Oh, I love that you give a horse with eyes of different colors. I love this detail,
Yeah.
and and I can see that you love riding because one of your characters just love the freedom. Can you say something about this without spoilers, of course?
Yeah, that was definitely a piece of myself I put into Dinah was my love of horses, her love of horses. I loved kind of being able to channel that through her and kind of channel my experiences and the way I feel when I ride my horse and her horse. Cardinal was inspired by my horse Champion very directly. And many different horses in my stories are inspired by horses that I've known. So it's a really cool way to incorporate my own history and experiences into the story without it being too direct. Like nobody would know this without me sharing it, but it helps me ground the story because I'm all about just, I love gritty realism, making it as real and unique as I can. So I
Yeah.
love incorporating like horses I've known, whether they were mine or not, like their different unique personalities because horses all do have their own unique personalities. And I just love incorporating that into my stories.
And you're very successful on this because it's a wonderful story, and I do not finish yet. So, um, a part that you talk about it's the action, and guys, the first fight that Madison tells, it's very greedy, it's very real, and I used to be a bouncer, so I know when someone hits your nose, the first thing you do is, oh no, right? I wonderful part, Madison, and
Thank you.
you imagining like a movie because it's many elements in your story. I just see a movie style.
Yeah, as much as I loved reading growing up, I might have loved movies even more. I would probably say I'm more well versed in cinema, and I've just always loved movies. And I'm a very visual person, being an artist, of course, very visual, and that's how I would describe my writing style is cinematic, because I
Yes.
picture everything like a movie when I'm writing it. I imagine how it would sound, like what does it smell like in there? Like what's the I even think of in terms of like what's the camera angle here? Like what am I wanting the person to visualize as they're reading the sentence? So I even think about it in terms of like transitioning from one camera shot to another because that's just kind of how my brain works, I guess. And that's the dream one day is like for my books to be turned into movies or a streaming series or something because I definitely write it with that in
I
mind.
I think it will be more appreciated if it was a streaming series.
I agree because it's really hard to adapt books into movies because you have to cut so much out because it's only 2 or 3 hours. I really love the idea of streaming series that are like 7 or 8 episodes and each one's like an hour. And I
Yes,
think that would fit a book so much better because it really gives you time to expand on things.
yes. Now, Madison, we go to the second book without spoilers? What
Yes.
you can say about what we should expect, the surprises, the plot twists? I know it's complicated to say without spoiler, but please.
So Cimarron Dove is the story of Molly Luther, who's had a really hard life. She's in a difficult situation, and an abusive situation, and she's trying to get out of it. She wants to break free and she wants to start over. And so there's her half of the story. I love telling dual stories where it's 2 points of view. So like my first novel, it's two main points of view and Cimarron Dove. So there's Molly, and if you've read Gone Outlaw, you'll notice that she was mentioned very briefly in Gone Outlaw. So there was a little seed there, a little foreshadowing. And then I have a character from Gone Outlaw, a member of the gang, who carries over into book two, and he's my male lead and Cimarron Dove, and he's also trying to start over in the aftermath of everything that happens in the first book, and kind of turn over a new leaf. But when he finds out about Molly and what's happening with her situation, she's on the run. He wants to help her out, and so he's back in trouble again.
Oh, oh my God, I'm so excited. And now, can you, Madison, please? I know watching your videos that the audiobook was very important to you, but not just because it's a new step in your career, but the quality because we don't have only a person narrated the story. We have characters, we have soundtracks, we have special effects. Uh, the quality is exceptional. Tell us how important to you was this?
Yeah, so I always wanted to do audiobooks for my stories, but for a while it just wasn't doable. You have to have a budget for these things.
Yep.
And I am an independent author, I don't have a publishing house doing this for me, so I had to get to a place where I could finally afford to do this. And I wanted to do two different versions because a lot of people are kind of audiobook purists. They only want to hear the narration. They don't want any sound effects. They don't want any distractions. So I was like, okay, I'll do this narrative version over here for Audible and all of that. But for the people who want kind of more of an audio drama experience, they want that immersion of the sound effects and the music. I'm going to release that for free on my YouTube channel so people can choose and they can pick which version they would prefer. But yeah, the music was done by my cousin Karen Ballou. She
Wow.
had a band called The Deer's Cry, and she had done the trailer music for Gone Outlaw already. And so I had these music tracks that were just perfect for kind of atmosphere and immersion. They weren't distracting. They were just perfect like mood setters. And so I was like, oh man, this would be perfect to have in the background. And then sound effects. I do all that myself. Like I just find copyright free, guys.
Yes.
I don't steal stuff, but I find the copyright free sound effects and I put everything together myself. I have a lot of experience with video editing because for a long time I edited my own movie reactions and stuff. And long before I started doing movie reactions, I just did a lot of video editing growing up. So luckily I was kind of prepared for how to do this. So yeah, I've had a lot of fun putting together that immersive version, as I call it, of the audiobook.
Uh, thank you, your cousin, for me. It's a wonderful job.
I will.
And I noticed also in the start every chapter, it's a different art.
Mhm.
Was easy to choose.
Yeah, so I already had these pieces of artwork that I did for the trailer for Gone Outlaw. I love it when I have assets that I can just reuse. I was like, I've already got this artwork I did for the trailer, and I also did character posters, like for promotional purposes before the book came out. So I already had all of that, and I had, certain artworks just fit perfect for certain scenes. And so I would just use the artwork that fits the best for each chapter. Some are going to repeat because I don't have a different artwork for every chapter. But yeah, I loved how certain artwork that I did for the trailer ended up fitting perfectly for different chapters to use for the audiobook. It worked out.
Oh, nice. And you already have two published books. What can tell us about the future? Some spoilers, some hopes for your work.
Yeah, so I'm actually working on the third book now. I spent about a year really hammering out a scene outline and figuring out the plot and where I was taking certain characters. So I've just now entered the writing process for book three. So I'm working on the first draft now. So yeah, I have a lot of projects that I'm thinking of for like farther down the line, but right now I'm planning to finish out the Sunset Legends series and um, right now, the plan is 4 books, but we'll see. We'll see what
Wow.
happens.
And like you are a talented artist, when the four books are ready, let's say are only four, you plan to design a box, special box, a limited edition?
I've thought about that. I love the box sets that I see when authors finish series and they just have these really cool box sets with like pretty art and stuff on them. I definitely plan to do that, like a box set and do like special new artwork for that, like once it's all complete. I think that would be really neat.
Oh, nice. Madison, you will be in some events in person in 2025, 26?
Yeah, Yeah, well, for a while I was doing a lot of comic conventions. I'm kind of taking a hiatus from that now because I just went in a different direction. That was back when I was doing a lot of the fandom art, as you would call it.
Yeah.
I did a lot of comic conventions, but now I'm kind of changing lanes, I guess, and I do some local festivals and things, and Yeah, I've got a couple coming up in October that I do every year, and they're just a lot of fun. I love doing the in-person stuff because I love getting to meet readers in person and just talk with them about like how they felt about the stories and talk with them about my artwork. Yeah, that's definitely a part of it that I love to do.
Oh, nice. Well, Madison, now can we talk about your some of your reaction videos?
Yes.
Okay. Before this, can you tell the public when, where, and when find your books?
Yeah, so my books are available on Amazon. You can find them there. I do ebook, and if you have Kindle Unlimited, they're free. There's also paperback and hardcover, so any format you want, you got it for my books. And they're also available. I don't even know where all, but it's like Barnes and Noble online. You're not going to find them in the physical, like in-person bookstores, but pretty much the online version of any bookstore, you should be able to find them there. Because I work with a site called Ingram Spark, and they make my books available in so many different online locations that I can't even keep up with it. So if you
Oh,
don't want to use Amazon, check your other bookstore that you love, and you should be able to find them.
and remember, guys, all the links for medicine will be the video description, right? Okay, about the reactions. Before anything, uh, we both love a very underrated movie, a western with Tom Selleck, Queenly. I love this movie, and he deserves much, much more love. And when I see that you made a reaction, I just love it. How you tell us about this movie?
I really enjoyed that movie, and I think I just ended up deciding to watch it sometime on the channel because it was like it would never win a poll, and I was like, dang it, I want to watch this movie. So eventually I was just like, I'm just going to do it. And I knew I was going to enjoy it going in. Just like, I love Tom Selleck already, like going into the movie. I already loved Alan Rickman before I watched it. So I was like, there's no way I don't enjoy this Western. And I really did enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. And the surprise of the story for me was really Cora and who she was as a character. I thought she was such a fun
Yeah, she was
element, like
crazy, crazy, crazy.
crazy but so lovable. Like she was just
Yeah.
great, and she
Oh,
was a really fun. Like the way her and Quigley would butt heads was just so much fun. I really enjoyed it.
yeah, and I recommend you another movie about Tom Selleck. It's the High Road to China. It's a very obscure adventure movie. He did it, in. It's a very fun movie.
Awesome. I haven't seen that one. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, yeah. It's his attempt to do a franchise because one of his falls in his career is because he cannot do the Indiana Jones, right? Because he was doing Magnum PI, and they did not release him. And I just imagine how he will be like Indiana Jones.
I did not know that. I didn't know he was
Yeah.
supposed to be Indiana Jones.
Oh, he's supposed to be Indiana Jones and Han Solo.
What?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow. I can
yeah.
really see him as Indiana Jones. Not so much Han Solo, but Indiana I could see it.
Yeah, he was the first pick of Spielberg, but the executives do not release him because he was filming Magnum PI.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yes. Well, so reaction. Some of them was the ones I found you. Queenly was one of my favorite, but I was very happy that you watched another of my favorite movies. It's the Shop Around the Corner. It's one of the best Christmas movie ever made. Right? What do you think about this?
I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was just a really cute love story. I really enjoy Jimmy Stewart, and he's one that I was not familiar with. I knew who he was obviously, but I was not familiar with his work until I started my channel. So that's been a really fun thing about it, is discovering these actors that like I know their name, but I didn't grow up watching their movies. And Jimmy Stewart's definitely been one of my favorites that I've discovered. I've reacted to several of his movies now, and there
Yeah.
hasn't been one that I didn't like.
Oh, yes. It's I love Jim Stewart and the great Frank Morgan. I think in every movie he stole the show, right? And Seven Brides to Seven Brothers. It's one of the best musicals of all times, and I was very happy that you like it of the movie. And I was expect that you noticed that Julie Newmar is in the movie, but you do not comment this.
Who was it? I'm sorry. I see so many actors that sometimes
Oh,
I get
oh,
them
sorry.
confused and I
Because
forget.
I am a little older than you, but Julie Newmar was the first Catwoman in the Adam West show,
Okay. Yeah.
and she
Oh
is one
yeah.
of the brides.
I remember a few people commenting like they were like Catwoman, and I was like, what?
Yeah, she was is one of the few who got named. She's Dorcas.
Okay. Yeah, I
Right?
remember her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that adaptation of Batman, so I wouldn't have
Yeah.
recognized her.
Yeah, I'm a little older than you. So, and other two that I separate here, it's The Shadow and the Darkness because it's a wonderful movie, and of course Die Hard because it's Die Hard, right? And
Hmm.
I was when you was reacting to The Shadow and the Darkness, and you really get into the movie, especially the last part that he goes to you yell to the TV, use the pistol. Oh no, he lost the pistol too.
I get really invested, and I really, when I care about a character, I just start yelling at them. I'm like, I start yelling instructions like
Yeah,
they can hear me.
yeah. I got very curious. You pretend to go to museum to see the lions?
Yeah, I haven't been, I haven't seen the lines, but my parents did. And they didn't even like realize it. After I watched the movie, I asked them, I was like, didn't y'all go to this museum? And they were like, yeah, we did. And I was like, so y'all saw these lions? And they were like, yeah, but they didn't make the connection because
Uh,
I don't think my mom has seen the movie. My dad did, but yeah, I was like, y'all saw the man eating lions. I wasn't with them, unfortunately, when they did that. That would have been cool if I had seen it and then made the connection later.
yeah,
But
and
yeah, I would love to see it at some point.
yeah, you are one of the few people who think the same. It's me that the doctor um, give a faulty gun to Val Kilmer.
Yeah, it
Ah,
seemed like
yeah, it was
they were
very
setting it
shady. It
up.
was very shady, right?
Yeah, it seemed like they were hinting at something, but then it was like kind of a misdirection, I guess.
Yeah, and when I was watching, one of the most frustrating scenes is when the lion get in the trap and the guys cannot shot him in a closed space, right? And my son just passed from the living room. And I explained him what was happening. He goes, "Why didn't you just burn the trailer, right?" That I see, yeah, because the movie will be very short, son, right?
See, after I watched the movie, I was so fascinated because I saw it was based on a true story. I looked up the true story because I was like, I want to see how much of this was accurate. And believe it or not, that was one of the things that actually happened. They actually
Yeah.
were in there with the lion and could not shoot it, even at close range. And it's just mind boggling. I don't know how that happened, but I was like, okay, so that was actually accurate and not just like a dumb movie plot thing they did to keep the movie going. What was even crazier to me about it is like really the true story was wilder than the movie. That's always
Yes.
like whoa when you look up a true story and it's even crazier than the film adaptation.
Yes. And Die Hard because I think we both agreed that first Alan Rickman was one of the great actors of his time, and it is a Christmas movie, right?
I would agree. Yeah, I mean it takes place at Christmas, so
So,
yeah.
and what is your favorite reactions in your channel?
Oh my goodness, that's really hard. I think now I've reacted to over 170 movies, so it's really hard for me to think of all of them off the top of my head. But One that immediately comes to my mind is I loved Road to Perdition.
Oh
That
yes.
that movie was just right up my alley. Absolutely loved it, and kind of like a pleasant surprise because I didn't know exactly what it was going to be. But I mean, I got to say, Dances with Wolves. I really loved that one. That's one I'll never forget.
Uh, I think Kevin Costner cannot do wrong with westerns and sports movies, right?
Yeah.
Oh, two movies that I was watching and I was afraid when getting the part because of you was John Wick because of the dog, right? And Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
Oh, those movies they break you, right?
I really loved Field of Dreams, and yeah, I cried like a baby.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
John Wick was a great surprise for me because I went in liking Keanu Reeves and kind of having an idea of like what the franchise was like, or I thought I did. But when I actually started watching him, I got so into it. Like I
Yeah,
understand that
and
it's
you
just
get very angry with
yeah,
the guys, the criminals, right? They deserve to die.
yeah. I mean, the first movie I really enjoyed, but it was like I kept enjoying the franchise even more as it went. And I know that all John Wick fans won't agree with that. But I just thought it was so amazing. Those are the best fight sequences I've ever seen in on film. Like the choreography just kept getting better with each movie.
Yes.
And what Keanu could actually do, like the fact that he was doing so much of it and it wasn't just a stunt double all the time, it was amazing watching him progress with the choreography too in each movie.
And he is in his 60s.
Yeah.
Oh
Like
my God,
when I
right?
found out, like, I was like, how old is he doing each of these movies? I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I couldn't do that now. And I'm in my 20s.
Yes. Um, did you? I do not see if you watched how is the name? Nobody.
I haven't seen that.
It's it's a John Wick type movie, right?
Okay.
But a good thing that you're going to like is the same choreographer is from John Wick is in Nobody, and it's the same actor is in the Nobody movie.
Okay. Cool.
Do you remember the guy who fight John Wick? He cannot kill him. He throw him in the floor of the the nightclub.
Yes.
It's
You talking about the really big guy?
yeah, throw
Yeah.
and John oh he
Yeah.
fall. Is that the actor and he is the choreographer from both the movies.
Okay. Awesome. I did not realize that.
And he is one of the agents that fight Keanu Reeves in the Matrix 2.
Okay.
So he is he they are reunited for this movie.
Yeah.
Well, so Madison, it's one question I like to ask is it's what is the movie that you watch over and over again when you were a child or you still watching is like your comfort movie. You have this?
I have a lot of comfort movies, I feel like. As a kid, it was definitely Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron.
Oh, I am not surprised. And this the movie is beautiful, but the soundtrack it's amazing.
Amazing. Yeah, Brian Adams and Hans Zimmer. You can't really beat that. Yeah, that and The Black Stallion were like my comfort movies as a kid, but I mean always Star Wars too because I grew up just watching them over and over and over again. So yeah, definitely Star Wars 2 and Lord of the Rings. I'm actually right now I've been like, man, I need to watch the whole trilogy again. It just hits me kind of like every year where I'm
Yeah,
like I need to watch the Lord of the Rings again.
I watch once of a year the director's cut once a year
Yeah,
with my
whenever I
friend.
watch it, it has to be the extended cut because
Yeah,
like the theatrical cut cuts so much out, so much good stuff. Oh man, it's just not
yeah.
the same.
I still don't believe they cut the fireball in the Return of the King,
Yeah,
right?
there's a lot of crazy stuff they cut out that I'm like, man, they should have kept this.
But the movie will be very long, right? Because
Yeah.
it still thinks they cut. They have Tom Bombadil in the first draft of the movie, and they cut off the character.
Yeah, I mean, they're long even in the theatrical cut, so I guess they did what they had to do. But yeah, I think most of us diehards, we prefer the extended cut.
Yes, sure. Madison, your art, it's available to when somebody want to buy it.
Yes, it is. I have my website. It's madisontames.com, and I have, yeah, all my stuff listed there, like my drawings, paintings, and I have prints as well. And I also have an Etsy. I know some people prefer to shop on Etsy, so I'm over there too.
Oh, nice. Well, Madison, I think it is this. I'm very happy for this talk, and we get in that point in the adventures layer we call momento Carini. It's the moment for Carini, a friend of mine. It's a homage to her when you, the guest, sent a message to the universe.
All right. Well, I was thinking about this because you told me you were going to ask for a moment of wisdom. And it's been a really hard year for me, like with some really painful losses this year. And it's had me thinking a lot about that. Just a reminder that life is very short. Our life here on this earth is so brief and temporary and compared to eternity. So I've been thinking about that a lot lately. And yeah, I was like, when I get to the end of my life, when I take my last breath, thinking about what's really going to matter and kind of recentering myself with that. Like my success as an author, as an artist, all of that isn't going to matter in the end. The only thing that's going to matter is, and any of us, is did I know Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior? And so Romans 10:9 is what I would like to share today. I've had it on the brain. Sorry, I'm kind of emotional.
No problem.
It's been an emotional week. Um, But if you confess with your mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. So that's my wisdom for today.
Thank you, Madison. And I'm very happy to you, with you talking to me and share this moment. I know sometimes life get hard and it's tough to us to find the light. And are
Hmm.
those moments to remember us that we are not alone in physical ways and in the spiritual ways. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
So, well, guys, that's this. And this is Madison. Thank you for this chat. I'm Marcus. This is the Adventures Lair. To the next time.